Hey guys, welcome to Oddcast, For Nerds by Nerds show. You're joined by me, Joe, my co-host Paige, NCN, and we're very excited because today we just finished watching the PS5 showcase, I guess just PlayStation Showcase, which was super entertaining. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch it, it's 42 minutes long, which isn't very long. We recommend
Not compared to some of their other ones. Some of their other ones were much longer.
We recommend you check it out, and if you haven't already done so for us and for PlayStation, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and hit the little bell for notifications. They drop stuff all the time. We drop stuff all the time. This way you're notified and informed of when it happens. So we debated kind of switching up the order of things into what we thought was the most important, and instead we're just going to kind of touch briefly on a little bit of this and that and what they showed off. So we're going to start off with, they announced the Lucasfilm's remake of, or I guess LucasArts' remake of KOTOR.
I'm so excited! I wanted it to be a brand new game, but having it being remade is okay, because it's been a long time, because that was what? In the...
We discussed it, we think it's
early,
the PS2...
Early 2000s.
Yeah, PS2, Xbox
I think 2000 or... Yeah, I think it's 2000.
Because I played it on the original Xbox, so that was a minute ago.
And having a remake, in my opinion, if they do the remake very similar to what they did with Final Fantasy, I think it would be fantastic to play an updated KOTOR.
I'm super stoked
without
for it.
question.
Regardless, give me Knights of the Old Republic. Just give it to me. In any form I can get it, I'm so excited. So excited. Because the war between the Jedi and the Sith is so cool. I'm here for it. Yeah.
They also introduced Project Eve, which looks interesting, it's intriguing, but there's not a lot to go on other than it looks kind of cool. It looks similar to I'd say a cross between, you had said Final Fantasy 12. I kind of agree with that. Final Fantasy 12 and probably like a Bloodborne-esque.
Well, for me, kind of, like I said, Final Fantasy 12 mixed with, Devil May Cry mixed with Bayonetta. It just has that flow.
Yeah, you said it was a Square Enix game, and I was like, that wasn't the thing that it said. But it does have the feel of the games that he just said, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see more about it. They also, of course, did a new trailer for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which I'm very excited about.
It looks actually really fun.
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiny Tina's just a great character, and I'm always happy to see the Borderlands legacy continue with new content and new stuff, and I think that's a really cool addition to it. And then, of course, you mix in the D&D aspects and all of her jokes, and it's just...
I think that's what sold me on it, was the whole, she's playing a role, we're playing her campaign.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why I want to play it.
I was all right, well...
While I liked playing Borderlands, I could never get into it. I don't know, I tried probably 4 or 5 times to get into it, and I don't know if it was just overhyped, or I played the same thing too many times, and it was just... but I will probably definitely try Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Now, the next one is a Square Enix game that I'm totally stoked for. It's Forspoken, and one of the reasons I'm most excited about it is because it looks like she's a Hispanic protagonist, and there are not a lot of Hispanic women in video games. As a Hispanic woman, I really want to play as a Hispanic woman in a video game, but it's also, the going into a new world, and it just looks really, really cool. The graphics looked awesome, and I really want to know more about this game.
Yeah, the combat system looks really interesting, especially since she's apparently able to control things with her mind and
with the bracer thing.
bend elements or whatever. It looks cool. So I need more to go on, but it looks dope.
And the cuff/bracelet thing sounds like Paul Bettany, which I think is pretty interesting.
I would love for that to be Paul Bettany. Yeah. I'm gonna look it up now. I want to know who's the voice, because that would be great.
Now, the interesting one to me, which seems a little bit outside of the norm, is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Was it Extraction? It doesn't look like it played like a typical Tom Clancy game, or at least ones that I've played.
And I dig it. You know what it looks like to me? It looks like they were like, you know what we should do? We should do a sci-fi game, but with Rainbow Six. And I'm kind of here for it. Like, The Division is kind of a science fiction game. But not quite as heavy sci-fi. Like this one, it looks like you're fighting alien zombie things.
To be honest, it kind of reminds me a little bit of our old school game. Help me out with the aliens that we played it a lot. The aliens that come to Earth, and you have to.
Oh man! I only know what we called it, which was Freedom. The game where you drop into the world.
Helldivers?
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't think that's the
one. No, not Helldivers.
That's not the one he's talking about.
I'll think about it later. Wait, I remember. It's Resistance, Fall of Man.
Oh, heck yeah, Resistance 2.
Yeah. I didn't play that one.
The multiplayer on that was fantastic. Mostly because you could throw a grenade as you died. That's the thing that I loved the most about that game. But no, I agree. It looks very... It's Rainbow Six Dead Space is what it looks like to me.
It does. It has a good feel of Dead Space to it.
Well, and I would not play it then if it looks that creepy. The only way I would consider playing Extraction is depending on the multiplayer. If it's anything like The Division, because The Division's multiplayer and the map exploration is what I liked about it the most. So I'll have to see more before I even think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. And then they did Alan Wake, the remake, which... I guess it's kind of cool. I didn't play the original.
I never even heard of it.
Yeah, me neither. I was just about to say, I don't even know what it is, but I mean...
It looks cool. Like,
It looks a little creepy for me, so I'm gonna pass.
If you haven't noticed this already, she's not a big fan of
I'm a chicken! I'm here chicken, and I don't care who knows it! I don't play horror things, so pass.
And then, keeping on the remaster train, Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to the PlayStation 5 and
I'm also gonna pass
Xbox Series X, and that's just enhanced graphics.
No, I'm gonna pass on it, but not that as bad. It's just that I've played it so many times.
How many times have they remade this game? How many?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
how many times?
You're not wrong.
But that's kind of, I mean, that's the point of it.
I get it,
the
but
remake of a remake of a remake of the same game.
Move on, guys.
Yeah.
Move on.
Well,
Make a new one.
We know that somewhere in the shadows they're working on Grand Theft Auto 6. I just don't know what that game is going to look like. Because, like, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the highest grossing video game of all time.
They have massive shoes to
Even
fill
though I
with
enjoyed
6.
San Andreas more, in my opinion. But
I think nostalgia has a lot to do with that, though.
Yeah, I think so, too.
You have to take nostalgia into account, especially with video games. I mean, even movies, too. You have to take it into account, especially with our generation.
And then there was Ghostwire Tokyo, which we've now seen more of.
Yeah.
Another pass.
The story's still a little bit out there, and I gotta tell you, I'm not really a fan of first-person stuff. Like, I'm not...
They might have an option for a third person. A lot of games do offer the option for the Switch.
I think the only thing that might make it worthwhile is if it was, like, a VR title, but I feel like that would also be really hard for them to pull off. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with the game. It looks kind of cool. The graphics are up there.
Cool.
But
it has, like a slash between, like, a noir, Neo-Tokyo feel. It's interesting, but I don't think it's going to be on my shelf.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to wait to see. I guess I'll wait until there's more gameplay of it so that I get an actual feel for it.
Yeah.
And getting a feel for things is kind of I think the biggest flaw of the next one, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. I
love the movies, but the game just looks... I don't know. I don't know what it is.
The Marvel games have not done well. Even the Square Enix Avengers games didn't really
So the story
off.
To the Avengers is great, but they didn't... I think that they did a disservice to it by doing it as a games-as-a-service thing. Like, the games-as-a-service model did not work for the Avengers, and I don't think that they're doing the games-as-a-service model for Guardians of the Galaxy, but they haven't shown any, like, good gameplay footage for me to make an assessment of what Guardians of the Galaxy's gameplay
they showed was not good.
No, I would have to disagree with that. I think the gameplay footage that we did see in this showcase seems pretty interesting. I do like the camaraderie between the characters. It seems like the script's going to be great. But I have, much like our previous title, I have to see a little bit more before I can make a determining factor.
Yeah.
It's not my type of game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Marvel games, but I think the last Marvel game that I really enjoyed was Avengers. It was the one with all the it was the second one with all the fusion attacks.
Fusion attacks?
Ultimate Alliance?
Yes. Ultimate Alliance 2, I think. I played the first one and the second one, but those two were the last Marvel games that I truly enjoyed. So
I've played a bunch of Marvel games. Web of Shadows is by far the most superior one that they've done.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I can't Spider-Man was really good, so I take that back. But I meant ensemble games.
Yeah.
That was the last one that I enjoyed, so. And the next one that I know I think all of us are super excited about is the Vampire Blood Hunt. It's based off of the World of Darkness tabletop game Vampire Masquerade, or, well, just Vampire, because they've had several iterations of Vampire. But it looks so cool. We've been waiting for a really good vampire game for a long time. I remember when they were talking about making it an MMO, and then that never happened, and I was really sad about it, because that would have been an MMO I actually would have played.
I do like the fact that it is modern day.
Yes.
I do like the combination between, like, the magics and using guns. Like, some of the combat...
It's true urban fantasy.
Yeah, some of the combat systems, I was like, all right, that's kind of dope. You kind of, like, smoke phase in and somebody mid-shoot.
That was really cool.
I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
Really cool.
The real question, though, is it going to be multiplayer?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what that is
versus
yet.
Co-op? Are there going to be more clans? Because mine wasn't presented.
I didn't see mine either.
So what was it, 3 that they just...
They only showed 3. Yeah.
So maybe like more? Or
so we
like,
got...
You said during the viewing, potential DLC maybe.
Yeah,
for sure.
Toreador, Nosferatu, and then...
The Bruja.
Bruja or Bruja, depending upon how you want to pronounce it.
Yeah. But having only 3 is not enough. Like, if anyone's ever played anything with a vampire, that is not enough clans.
Let me guess.
I feel like that was just a taste.
Let me guess. Malkavian?
Yeah.
Of course. I had to ask that. Yeah.
I would also settle for a La Sombra.
La Sombra would be dope.
But, they're part of the Sabbat in the present time, so, But that's also following Masquerade rules and not...
Yeah, we don't know exactly if they're pulling from the whole thing, if they're pulling from the newer as well as the older. I'm sure it's some mashup of something, so we'll just have to wait and see, because I'm quite certain there's more than 3 clans. There has to be. They are doing a disservice to the World of Darkness fandom if they don't.
And then the next one, which really requires no further explanation because Paige has already pre-ordered it, and we're anxiously awaiting it as Deathloop. So we're really...
And we talked about it multiple times on the previous episodes.
But this was a story one where you got to see more about what's going on, which, but it comes out later this month. It's only in a few weeks. Not that I have a PS5 to play it, so it's kind of... Because it's only on the PS5.
Yeah, we bought PS5 games, we still don't have a PS5.
Yeah.
It's looking like we might be getting one towards the end of the year, but, we'll see.
Yeah.
Now, Kid Amnesia was a little weird of a trailer. Like, it was like a hell of a teaser trailer. Like,
no joke.
There was nothing there.
I don't even know what it is. I don't know.
Is it a concert?
Radiohead and Epic,
Yeah, Epic Games has been doing, the concerts on Fortnite. So part of me is like, is that what this is? Is that what's going on?
That's what I feel like it is, especially with Radiohead being right next to the title.
I need more context and visuals and story, if there is one. Like, I need something, because that was nothing.
Yeah, it was nothing.
I like the VHS vibe, but I got no idea what it's about.
Yeah, so we'll see.
The next one we didn't get a whole lot about, just the one trailer. I hadn't heard of it before. It's called, I think it's called Tchia. I may be saying it incorrectly, but it's about a little girl on an island who can go into animals and control them, and it looks like this really cool puzzle, kind of where you have to use different animals to solve different things.
Yeah.
And then there's this overarching story about her island. It looked like there was like this factory thing that they were trying to, I'm sure it's going to, try to destroy the environment, so they're trying to, the art style looked really cool. Yeah. And I like puzzle games, and...
I think I have to see... I also want to know what culture they're pulling from.
It looks really Moana-y. So I think it's Polynesian, I think.
The language, I gotta look that up, because I'm curious.
Yeah, for sure. But it had a very Moana feel, and I love Moana, so sign me up.
The minute that they started to show clips of it, I was like, Paige is going to pre-order this game.
You're not wrong.
Speaking of exploration, Uncharted is also... going into new territory, and that's just me saying that they're taking they're taking A Thief's End and Lost Legacy, bundling them together and releasing them on the PS5, which is of course a visual update, and they are releasing them to PC, which means that they are continuing Sony's trend of taking exclusive content and putting it online to market, which is great, because I think that even though people don't want to acknowledge it, I think that is actually the future of Sony.
What?
It's possible.
I think that eventually PlayStation and Xbox will go away, and they will become more digital marketplaces. But I think that's an eventuality.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I do believe that Xbox and Sony will continue to be their own pillars, but I feel like PC will be the one in between that both of them constantly bounce back to. That will always, because Xbox already releases everything on both platforms at the same time, whereas
Microsoft,
but and Sony will start and then go, and then start and then go, and that's fine. I think having the PC market is important because of how large it is. Because not everybody's into console gaming, but I feel like it's important for Sony to make that leap, and I'm glad that they have continued that trend. So this is when they started to go into their was it this one or was it with Uncharted where they started to go?
I'd say it started with Uncharted, because Uncharted is tentpole. Naughty Dog games,
but they're Sony Studios specific exclusive games. And Wolverine, it was a quick little teaser. We weren't sure what was happening until, obviously the adamantium blades came out of his fists. We could see the guy walking up and we knew that guy was going to die.
I was
question that guy was not going to survive.
Well. He did not think that through. I don't know what this guy, before I realized it was Wolverine, I was like, I don't know what this guy's doing, but he's obviously making a huge mistake.
Yeah, a huge mistake.
And then, of course, to me, in the big picture of things, Wolverine being a Sony PlayStation exclusive means that there's there's obviously some kind of background deals.
Something.
Like Sony and Marvel, you're not fooling anybody. There's some stuff going down, and I mean...
Well, I mean, that was already pre-established with what's going on with Spider-Man and with Venom, and so they have... I feel like they've solidified their partnership, especially after that whole thing they had before.
I'm not sure we won't know until No Way Home.
For sure. I would agree with that. Maybe not even until what they're going to do with Spider-Man after No Way Home going forward.
The surprise for me, specifically since I'm a gearhead, I'm a mechanic in my private life, but Gran Turismo 7. So it looks fantastic. I think it's going to give Forza 4 its run for its money, because Forza has been the automotive simulator game for years now.
It did specifically say auto simulation.
Yeah, so it's
driving simulation.
So and they said the real.
Yeah, no, you're right. It did. You're right.
So I think it in my head it's a jab at Forza, but it looks fantastic. It has a lot of the current vehicles that's out, a lot of the Porsches and the McLarens, and even some of the imports, Skyline, stuff like that. Supra popped up there a couple times, but I haven't played a racing game of some sort since, I want to say, Need for Speed Pro, and I dislike Need for Speed Pro. So it's been several years, and I might actually get this one. It looks interesting.
Dear Gran Turismo, just make an underground game, and I will buy it.
Seriously, though.
It kind of has the same feel.
I know.
They have
when they started to show them designing the stuff, I was like, okay, this...
I really liked Burnout. Burnout was the last racing game I really enjoyed, mostly because I really like the crash dynamics. The crash physics are really fun.
Crash dynamics are always fantastic.
So, but Burnout was focused in on them. It was, you had to get a certain crash. That was half the part of the game was the crashes.
Crash your opponents and make sure they wipe out.
I'm not the best racing driver in games, so.
Speaking of taking the wheel, Spider-Man 2 was announced, and they had a nice trailer for it. However, we're not sure who the driver of the story is going to be. So you have Peter Parker and you have Miles Morales, both in the game. It looks like they're doing a combo attack, which I'm totally here for.
Yeah.
But is it going to be two-player? Are you just going to control one person at a time? Are you going to play local two-player? Or are you going to have to each have a version of the game and play online? Yeah. What's it going to be?
That actually makes me think of a question. When's the last time there been a LAN co-op game?
Actually,
LAN's not a thing anymore, buddy.
Local area network. I mean, couch co-op is what it's
couch
called.
co-op, basically.
They still make them.
I just call it couch co-op.
It Takes Two came out earlier this year. I think Deathloop is going to be a LAN one.
It's still one of those things where I haven't seen too many games that two people can sit on the couch and play. It's been a minute.
They make a lot.
Maybe indie games.
Unravel 2, Borderlands.
I guess so.
Overcooked.
The Adventures of Sackboy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Adventures of Sackboy. But this game, it has a surprise. I guess it's a surprise villain.
I mean, Venom's in it,
which is surprise, but
he was hinted at in the first game, but we didn't know where they're going with it. There's the after credit scene with him, so it makes sense that that's the continuation. But the real question is it Eddie Brock or are they doing Flash? Because they only showed the symbol, they didn't show the symbiote, but we did hear him say
we saw his face.
We saw Venom's face.
Yeah, you saw Venom's face, but not the actual the host is.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what's going on there, and if they're doing a black suit, if they're going to give the Venom suit to Spider-Man. I don't know. I'm very curious as to what they're doing with it.
And lastly, God of War Ragnarok, which I'm totally stoked for.
Yeah, we finally got some info on it. We just talked about it in one of our last episodes.
Yeah, so it looks great. The only question I've got is, it looks like he's going back to Greece.
No, I don't think so. Because we saw Thor's hammer.
Correct.
And he was going after Tyr, and then they're trying to find Loki, which are all Norse gods.
And they're also and apparently his big bag is Odin. So
well, they hinted at that, but there's also centaurs in it, which they're not part of Norse mythology.
I want to say they have their own form of different magical beasts too. So.
I mean, you're not necessarily wrong. We know Freya was in it,
but I mean, they could have some blending because he's Greek.
And I'm talking about Ragnarok, Greek, so it's probably going to be the destruction of
it should be the destruction.
Well, I mean, that's what Ragnarok is.
Yeah, but
Ragnarok is the destruction of the Norse pantheon as it stood. However, it's not the end of the world, which was what a lot of people think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's the twilight of the gods. However, there's a handful of them that survive and move on. Loki being one of the survivors, which makes sense given the game's archetype.
Mm-hmm. So the story looks really awesome. Super stoked for it.
The combat system looks a little bit like they heightened it more. It looks faster, not as slow.
But that tends to be what happens.
Especially with a continuation, they have to add more to it. It can't just be the exact same thing. Yeah. So...
But we're totally here for it. Mm-hmm. And you've reached the Ragnarok of this video, which is, it's the end of this video, but not the end of Oddcast. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, and you'll be notified the next time that we resurrect from the godly ashes. No, I'm kidding, guys. But we look forward to talking to you next time. Have a great one. Thanks for joining.
Bye. Later, guys.